Yeah, that rapid strengthening is expected as we continue in through the next 24 to 48 hours as we see ERIN mature into a hurricane and potentially a major hurricane, and then a brush with the Bahamas potentially as we head through the weekend.
Going to be a close call, right?
A close call.
We want to bring in Leon Lundy joining us now. Leon is the Bahamian Minister of State with responsibility for disaster risk management. Leon, good morning to you. There is still some uncertainty, and even using that term brush with the Bahamas, I think that's fair to say. Still too close to say you are in the clear. But given that uncertainty, how are you guys preparing this morning?
Good morning from Nassau, Bahamas. We're actively monitoring through our Met department, and the Prime Minister was briefed yesterday on the forecast and the potential threat of the storm. And as you said, the brush to the eastern islands, the southeastern islands mostly, but we'll mostly be affected by the winds per the Met office, but not strong winds. All of our family island administrators have been briefed and they've been notified and are on standby should we have any potential threat. This year, we've replaced all of their outdated satellite phones because communication is key, and we want to make sure that we can get any information down to them as soon as possible. Also, our Royal Bahamas Defense Force, they're on full alert, and they've had their meetings and briefings, and we're all standing by.
Yeah, and as we speak to, I do want to point out that the video we've been watching is from 2019. That's when we experienced Hurricane Dorian. This was a major hurricane, a Category 5 that targeted and made landfall in the Bahamas. It was catastrophic, right? And the hope is that we don't see anything near as similar as what you experienced back in 2019. But in dealing with the worst of the worst, how has that prepared you for going into this latest potential threat as we head into the weekend and into next week?
Well, the best thing you could take from a storm such as Dorian is to establish lessons and put those into play because of those past storms, because of that past storm. And from that, we established the Disaster Risk Management Authority to be that one vehicle that'll steer us in these parts. And prevention is key for us now. We've revamped all of the internal disaster response mechanisms, and we had a focus on capacity building shelters throughout the communities, and just expanding our national disaster readiness programs.
When we watch ERIN strengthen, which we'll probably see tomorrow, into a hurricane, and as that track comes into better focus, how will the Bahamas adjust the preparedness? And what will happen? You're mentioning, Leon, the southeastern islands in the Bahamas. What would be the next phase if this does continue to trend in the direction of the Bahamas?
Yes, well, the next phase for us will be activation, and that's where we'll activate our incident command centers. And as I said, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, they have already had their plans in which to do in case a storm starts to head our way. And we'll put all of those plans in place. We already have evacuation plans for all islands, and also a plan just on island to deal with the most vulnerable amongst us, to make sure in case we have to do any evacuation, it's done orderly and taking care of, like I said, the most vulnerable amongst us.
I mean, Leon, when we're looking at video, the Bahamas known for its beauty, right? Surrounded by the beautiful tropical waters, and to see such destruction, it does give you pause, right? But I guess also my point is that you get so many people that come to the Bahamas, even this time of year, knowing the risks that could ensue because of the tropical season. But when it comes to also navigating not just the locals, but also people that are very unfamiliar, perhaps with tropical systems, sure, balancing that as you also move forward. Anything particularly different when it comes to tourists?
Well, with the tourists, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also our Ministry of Tourism, they have in certain protocols when it comes to storms and how they deal with visitors and visitors alike. Of course, the hotels play a major part in it. We get the list, and like I said, we have evacuation plans all set in case there has to be a mass evacuation or in case we just have to evacuate to certain shelters. They know where the shelters are, and the information is passed on. As I said earlier, communication is key, and keeping everybody under one umbrella as the Disaster Risk Management Authority does, and that's why it was established, to make sure that every angle we're tackling and coming together as one to deal with these storms.
All right. Well, I know we're in a way early in the ball game, but those preparations clearly underway. One of those times of year where you just have to have that head on a swivel because things can change pretty quickly in the Bahamas. Leon Lundy, the Bahamian Minister of State with responsibility for disaster risk management, thank you for joining us this morning on Weather Command.
Thank you.